Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Live from Austria. Weber Tours. Unbelievable. We saw today Niflois Habayr, Mamish, from the waterfalls, the snow, the lakes, the streams. This is unbelievable. I want to show you just a little bit before we get into it. Here we go. A little bit. All this is today. Niflois Habayr. Niflois Habayr. Niflois Habayr. All right. So yesterday we started a brand new thing called Nivgati.com, or how do you say it in English? I'm insulted. I'm insulted at mdy.com because Baruch Hashem we're able to insult people on a daily basis. So we opened up a new email and the emails are coming in. Beautiful. Where's that email that you had for me? That was unbelievable. So I'm going to show it to you. Let me just here. This is Quack Shalom. We waddled with great anticipation. I don't know what this is. A devoted duck named. Hey, let me see this one. This is much better. This is Givaldic. Okay, so it goes like this. Shalom Aleichem Rabbi Yisai. You've reached the official MDY offended hotline, where your outrage is our daily daf. Are you insulted because Eli Stefansky didn't mention your name during the daf? Did someone take your seat in the front row and pretend it's hefker? Were you triggered by the coffee being lukewarm, the value being too high, or the fact that someone made a joke during Tosfos? Please listen carefully because our options have changed, mainly because too many people get offended by the old ones. Press 1 if you're mad that no one said good morning on the Zoom chat. Press 2 if you think the Magachir is going too fast or too slow, or both. Press 3 if you didn't get your free Gemara and you suspect a conspiracy. Press 4 if you got a shout out but your name was pronounced wrong. Oh, that happens all the time. What's your name again? Zelig Lichtenstein. Okay, that I could do. Press 5 if you think MDY is too Ashkenazi, too Sephardi, too Hasidish, too Yeshivish, too Litvish, too Israeli, too American, or all of the above. Press 6 if you're not even sure why you're offended, but you are. All complaints will be reviewed by our dedicated team of retired mashgichim and one very patient guy named Mendy. Response time may vary between 6 minutes and never. Have a meaningful day. May your covet be restored before the next daf. This is Givaldic. Okay, so all those who are... I'm going to try my hardest to not insult everybody today. Whatever. Whoever needs, we'll put it on the screen. What's the email? First of all, in Hebrew, it's Nivgati at the MDY.
MDY.com.
Okay, Givaldic. Let me just do a couple of... breakfast today is sponsored by Reuven Schwartz, the Nishmas Chanalea Bas Meir Koyen, HaKoyen. The Masech is sponsored by David Salman, dedicated in memory of Avi Mori, Reb Shmuel Baruch Ben, Reb Chaim Tzvi Doiv. You know what? It's going to be Givaldic. I'm going to go through all the sponsors, then it's going to be Ma'ariv. No tire today. Anonymous. The Masech Tatzlach Baruch Tzvi L'chus L'chanim B'nai Yisrael. Anonymous. May our learning be a shield of protection and a source of unity and blessing for Am Yisrael. Joel Gedalius, the Nishmas, my father, Jack Gedalius. Koil sponsors monthly. Moshe Aaron Mir and Landy. Thank Hashem for all the bracha and simcha. Monthly sponsors TCS Israel Power. We're talking today. Yonah Kletzig for Shleim Mir Mester Bas Peril Fradel Pesel. Weekly sponsors anonymous. Mary Moshe Dov Ben Yerucham officials. We're going to the Bracha next week. Yosef and our guy Feinerman. Thank Hashem for saving our son Shmuel Menachem from a recent near drowning incident. Daily sponsors. Noam and Rivka Milrad. With our Karsa Tov to our dear father Reb Oberstein, who inspires us and never misses the daf. Getzi Sofer. Eliakim Getzel Ben Sor Malcolm Mishpach D'Schus Hatzlacha B'Chol Anyonim. Yossi El, in honor of Yoel Freund, for finishing the first parak. Keep it up. Keep it up. Joel Azuri, in memory of Liora Tova, Bad Racham and Shoshana Monir Aleh Shalom. MDY Kids Monthly, Connovation Schus Official Echon Kiva, Rivka Mrs. Stefansky, Kalman Yisrael, for learning 4 Mesachtes Rebelli, Art of the Month, for Shlema, for Yonatan Eitan Basheva Bracha, L'Rfu Shlema Baruch Ben Esther, L'Rfu Hayeled, Daniel Zev Ben Ayel Dester, a boy say. Geschmack today. It's kind of short. Today, what is this? Yeah, Zori. That's right. Good friend of mine. I didn't chap. Okay, he's the one that lost his wife in a car accident going skiing in Denver then. Wow. Okay, I chap. Now I chap. Thank you. Boys at Daf Amud Aleph, 8 lines down actually. So in terms of, if this is your first time doing Daf Yomi, it's one of the big no-nos to do a little bit too much into the next daf. But because if you look at Amud Aleph and Beis, it was very short, so we decided to go ahead a little bit. But we're not going to do it again. Says Gemara like this: Hanumarikoi, people who cultivate saffron. Now there's two people. It's two people. There's the Yid and the Goy. They have a shutvus together. They're cultivating saffron. I don't know if you know about saffron. Saffron is the most expensive spice you could get. Here, I have a little bit of, not too much today because of everything that's going on. Oh, here we go.
My name is David Freinenberg. I'm the founder and CEO of Saffron Tech, the first company in the world to grow saffron in vertical farming machines. We are planning to challenge the traditional saffron market.
We're growing saffron, which is the most expensive condiment in the world. Saffron is grown in a very traditional way, in a very old-time agricultural techniques. We plan to take it to the very high end of agronomic technology, growing it in vertical machines, in a aerophonic way, give it the best agronomic treatment it could have.
If you have a shutvus with a guy, are you allowed to benefit from the work that the guy does in Shabbos? What do you say? No. Okay. Now I have another question. We all learned about Chava and the Eitz Hadas. Everybody besides you, and so if you know, don't answer. What happened with Chava and the Eitz Hadas? What exactly happened? I asked a bunch of people in the hotel today, they didn't know. What happened? The Nachash did what? He convinced her. What did he do? He pushed her. What happened? What do you say? Pushed her. What do you say? Pushed her. What else? What do you say? What did Nachash do?
Pushed her.
That's it?
Convinced her.
מה אתה אומר? מה נחש עשה לחבו? Convinced her. Peleploim. The Gemara says there was a Maisa Ishus. There was a real act. Not stam push. That's what they told us in Cheder. We're going to see today that's not what happened. I call upon him. Now you have a guy. So let me just tell you the halacha real quickly. If you make up with a guy that he takes Shabbos and you take Sunday instead, 100% kosher. You're allowed to even split the money on Shabbos. If you make triple amount of money on Shabbos, but you made up to begin with, before you went into a partnership with him, that he takes Shabbos, you take Sunday, it's good. The problem is, if you don't make it up with him, and after you have a partnership, you say, you know what, you take Shabbos, I take Sunday, 100% usur. The Gemara is mesupek. What happens if you don't say anything? You don't say, stop, you come at the end of the month, you want to split profits. Is it okay or not? So that's the sugi here. The guy, the partnership, he took the Shabbos. And the Jew took Sunday. Also, the Kamei the Rava, Sharlu, Rava said it's okay. So, based on what I told you, is that okay or not okay? Here? Is it okay or not okay? What did I say? Not me. The Mishnah Berurah says, the halacha is, If you do it beforehand, great. You do it afterwards, not good. This is a case where it happened afterwards. And Rava said it's okay. Very problematic. So Ravina says, what are you talking about? When there's a partnership, you're not allowed to divide it like that. Why? Because then the guy becomes a shliach of the Jew for half of the Shabbos. But if they agree upon this beforehand, mutter. And if later on they come to divide the money, aser. So what just happened there? We said a halacha beforehand. Use tol chelkacha b'Shabbos v'nit b'chol. That's a different thing. Over there, they're discussing, the first part of this brisa is they're discussing the work. You work on Shabbos, I work on Sunday. Now the brisa is talking about what happens to the money. You take Shabbos money, I take Sunday money. Aser. Says the Gemara.
Talking about when they weren't masna.
When they were masna. Ichsif. Rava was embarrassed. He couldn't believe that he made a mistake in halacha.
The video.
Yeah? Yeah, I don't know where it is. No, we'll tell the editor. We have a video for Ichsif by what was it? By one of the falls or something. Okay. So many times in Shas you have this where an Amoira makes a mistake, but because HaKadosh Baruch Hu was protecting him, he didn't make a real mistake. He made a mistake to that halacha. But what happened was he wasn't wrong by saying it's mutter. Why? Because in fact they did make a deal before the partnership. Rava didn't know that. That's why he was embarrassed. But he didn't mess up in terms of the halacha, the psak halacha, that you're allowed to keep the money for Shabbos. Rabbi Givim Bei Kosel Omer, this is an Amoira that very, very uncommon name, Rabbi Gviyam Bei Kosel, but I saw that he's brought in as the Gadol Hador of his generation, even though it's not a very popular name. He says, what happened was, it's not true. They weren't partners in saffron. That's not the story. What happened was they were partners in Arla. Shiloh, another thing, if you came just for this. Arla, you're not allowed to have anah the first 3 years. Let me show you a picture. Arla, the first 3 years of a tree, you're not allowed to have any anah from it. The 4th year is called Neta Revai. We treat it like Meiser Sheni. We're not going to go into it. The 5th year, it's fine. So here's the question. Are you allowed to work your tree on Arla in an early year? Are you allowed to work with it? Are you allowed to do malach on it? What do you say, Noam? Anybody? You say, yeah? The answer is yes. You're allowed to work it. So you just can't have enough from it, not just eat it. Even if you sell it, you can't have any enough from the money. So as the Gemara says, we're talking about Arla, a partnership. The Jew tells the guy, you work the first 3 years, which I can't work, I can't benefit, so you take the first 3 years. I'll take the second 3 years. The guy is going to take the first 3 years. And he'll take from years 4, 5, 6. Also, the Rava, they came to Rava, Sharlahu. Rava said it's great. Why? So Rashi says right away, Sharlahu, they had to go have it. The Avagav the Kiblu Yachid Lechatchila, it's 100% mutter. V'amar Yisrael haya atoy v'gim shomer lalu. V'ani v'gim shomer achreim egan is shlichus. It's not a problem to make him a shliach. The Yisrael nami shar lo'ivda. The Yisrael himself could work it. So what's the big deal if he told the guy to work it? And the fact that it's a hana, says Rashi, it's not a hana. Okay. So says the Gemara. So that was the story. Ask the Gemara, what do you mean that was a story that is mutter? So after a little bit of technical difficulties, and we daven Ma'ariv, smack in the middle, we're in the base measure, and they wanted to daven Ma'ariv. So here we are, right in the middle of a line. So we were talking about that Rav Gevim because it says that we're not even talking about saffron. We're talking about Arla, and you're allowed to make a partnership with a guy and tell the guy, you work 3 years, the first 3 years, I'll work the second 3 years, years 4, 5, and 6, and we'll divide it like that. Rashi says it's not a problem. L'chatchila, it's not a problem. So if so, as the Gemara of Oisvei Ravina Rava, so why is Ravina asking a kasha on Rava? It's good, Rava is good. Let's say you Isaiah. No, he was just proving to him that he's right. As the Gemara of Iksiv. But Rava was embarrassed. Why was he embarrassed? He was embarrassed because he made a mistake. If he's right, then he wouldn't be embarrassed. Says Gemara, he never got embarrassed. It's not the story. The story is that it was about Arla. Okay. Lamed hey dalad mem. Iboilu. Stomimai. What if there's no t'nai between the guy and the yid who gets Shabbos, who doesn't. They came, they divided the money 50-50. Could the Jew use the Shabbos money? Tashma. On the one hand, it says im hisnu mitchila mutter. If they make a condition before they go into partnership, it's 100% mutter. Mashma hostama aser. It's mashma that if you don't do a partnership, you don't. It's aser. Oh, that's great from the ratio, but what about the Seifa? If you come and you don't make a partnership, you don't make a deal, you don't have a contract, and afterwards you come to split the money, no good. Hostama mutters, mashma that you didn't make a cheshbon, stop 50-50. Mutter. Ella because from the ratio is mashma one way, from the Seifa is mashma another way, so we have no raya. So what do you do when you have no raya in such a case? So the Rosh says this is Safek the Rabbanim because you're talking about Amir Lakim, Shvos, it's on the Rabbanim, so Safek the Rabbanim, the Kula. But the Rambam, the Ran, other Rishonim say it's Aser. So once again, we don't know what to do. We have Machlekes Rishonim. Hadron Allah lifnei yedayim, Hadron Allah lifnei yedayim, Hadron Allah lifnei yedayim. So we actually had this Mishnah, word for word, in the Gemara brought it, so we're very familiar with the Sugya, even with the Svars of the Sugya. Okay. So it's a little bit of a Chazara.
The two are used to passing between the Rosh, Rambam, and the Rif. 2 out of 3.
Yeah, and over here you have.
So you have the Rosh and the Rambam, each one like this. You don't have what the Rif would say. Based on that, it's how
yeah, I didn't see what the Rif said. I just saw the Ran. Okay. Zog the Gemara. This is the Mishnah. So we don't understand this, and as we learned, and we're going to learn that it all depends on the society, on the country, on the generation, what's acceptable. In those days, it was very acceptable for these goyim, these lowlifes, these ovdi kechavim, to do terrible averis with animals. And therefore, imagine you pull up to this hotel. This is a hotel. You didn't have a car. What did you have? You have a donkey. So you park it in front. Also the park. Interesting. I always thought it was interesting. I'm not doing anything. The guy's going to come without reshus and use my animal and do it with my animal. No, I'm over the either. Because you can't park your animal by the inn. Why? Why the chashud? What does it mean the chashud on revia? So what? So we had this Rashi already. We'll see it again. A ben noach is also to be with an animal. To what? Yeah, no, don't worry, because he went out of the PowerPoint. He's trying to fix it. Because it says Rashi, so my whole life I thought means a husband and a wife, they're one. No. Means that they produce one. The two produce one, they produce a child. Yatsu behema chayvav, you can't produce from a behema, a human and behema can't produce anything. So there's an isser to be with a behema because they can't produce. So let me ask you a question. You're not going to like this question. What about a person who could produce with an animal? There's an animal called a dolphin. Produce something, an animal out of it. Is there isser revia with the dolphin? The dolphin of the Gemara. So this is actually Machlekes Rishonim. Because the whole isser to be with an animal for ben noach is because it doesn't produce. But if it does produce, it wouldn't be awesome. Machlekes Rishonim. And the Mishnah says Rashi Givaldik. Here, it's on the screen. You see it on the screen? Great. Now we go weiter. So the first time I read it this morning, I thought it meant she can't be Mesiachid with the behema. No, it's referring to she can't be Mesiachid with a Ovid Kechavim, with a guy. Because my question was, if she can't be Mesiachid with a Jew. Forget about a guy. Okay. Because the guy have issues with her eyes. Guess what? Even a Zachar shouldn't be Mesiachid with a guy. You know what's fascinating? It's Mamash Parashat Shavua, by the way. What's Parashat Shavua? Bilam. Daf Yomi Beis talks about Bilam and his chamor. So you see that the goyim they used to be they were big into that. Ishus with the chamor. Daf Yomi Beis, Amud Beis. Let's see if I have any. I have to do real quickly. 3 short ones. Adar Global, experts in international financial services, anonymous. It's Chus. With gratitude for safe and healthy birth of our baby son, Baby boy, Mazel Tov. Givat HaShalva, a Torah true community in Givat Zev. Zog the Heilige Gemara Daf Chof Beis on Beis on top. Virimini. If it's true that every Ovid Kechavim is Choshed on Reviyah, how are you allowed to buy an animal for carbon from a guy? In order for an animal to be kosher for a carbon, you have to make sure that nobody was ever reveyed. You're allowed to purchase an animal from a guy for carbon. You're not worried for four things: that it wasn't revey a human being, and a human being wasn't revey it. Muktzah just means you set it aside for Avodah Zarah. You didn't do Avodah Zarah yet. You set it aside for Avodah Zarah. You're maktzah for Avodah Zarah. Then it means an actual animal that somebody worshipped it as Avodah Zarah. You're not chayshish for these four things. Says Gemara Bishlam, muktzah v'nevad. We've been talking about Avodah Zarah that maybe somebody set aside, maybe somebody was over it. It means that if a guy set it aside for Avodah Zarah, v'misa the palchin, if a guy actually did Avodah Zarah to it, it's disrespectful for a guy to sell. He wouldn't sell an animal that he made Avodah Zarah out of it. How can you buy an animal from a guy? Maybe he was reveh the animal, and therefore you can't bring it as a carbon. We had this far before. There's a physical thing. We saw. We said maybe it's not physical according to some, but upon him, there's a problem. The animal that a guy is reveya cannot give birth, and he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to ruin his animal. Says the Gemara, okay, that's very good for nekeva. What about a zachar? There's another problem with the zachar. You do that, he'll ruin his basar, whatever that means. Maybe psychologically, physically, I don't know exactly what it means. Says the Gemara, how come we're not concerned? You're allowed to, thank you. You got to pay attention because I skipped 3 lines the other day. You're allowed to purchase an animal from a shepherd, from a goyish shepherd. Why? Okay, the Baal Boss himself doesn't want to hurt his own animal, but what about a shepherd? He doesn't care about the other guy's animal. It's not his animal. Says he does care. He's concerned that if he gets caught red-handedly, he'll lose his salary. You're not allowed to give your Jewish animal to a non-Jewish Roya, shepherd. Why? Because you're over the Iver. Why? In that case, don't we say, well, a shepherd doesn't want to do anything with the animal because he's going to get caught. And if he gets caught, he's not going to get a salary. Says the Gemara, big enough Kamina. There's a difference between a goyish animal by a shepherd and a Yiddish animal by a shepherd. Why? What does it mean? The guy understands a guy. The guy understands the taiva of the other guy. I have that taiva, you have the same taiva. I know what you're up to. So Mela, the shepherd is concerned that he's going to get caught because he never knows, says Rashi, when the guy's going to check up on him. Because he knows he has the same taivas. And this Gemara is going to explain, the goyim have that taiva, the Jews don't have that taiva. And not only that, what happens when this animal can't give birth? So the owner is going to chap. What happened? What happened was his shepherd was reveyed. But a Jew, the shepherd, the Jew doesn't chap, he doesn't know, he's naive, so he's not concerned that he's going to get caught. Omer Rabba, this is what people say. Machtavo glola boza. You know, like you ever watch a guy cut glass? They have that little diamond, not a laser, diamond cutter. You go, yeah, I have a video of it, I'll show you. This. So when it comes to marble, apparently they do the same thing. This is not marble, this is a fake marble, but the idea is the same. This is what we're able to find. You give it a scorch, is that how you say it in English? Score it, I think that's the word. You score it and then you crack it. See, they just made a little this, and now you just give it a pop. That's what they do with tiles. Like they do it for glass. You never saw them do it in glass? How do you cut glass? That's exactly how you do glass. Here, the guy's going to show you how to do glass. It's a diamond blade, a circle diamond blade. It goes, it makes little charitz in the thing, and then you pop it. Put on something, and then the pressure. Boop. Okay. So says the marble. The marble says, "I'm very strong. Nobody could break me. But I know very well about that knife. That knife could really damage me." Ragla b'chavrei yoda. One guy that says rechilas about other people they know about each other. They're in the same, like they say Ramav, Ramusa, like a liar knows a liar. So a shepherd, a goyish shepherd knows, the boss knows what the shepherd is up to. As the Gemara, Yachi is Char min Akevis Lein Nizboin. How can you buy a zachar animal from an Akeva woman? Maybe she was near to it. Says Gemara, Kivin the Megarba Miratisa. She's very nervous that if she has relations with this animal's gonna run after her wherever she goes, and people are gonna chab. Why is this animal running after? It must be that they understand how it works. That means that she was near to it. She doesn't want to be embarrassed. As the Gemara, the Tony Rav Yosef says, "Amalta loyter rabbi kalba." A widow should not bring up a dog. She shouldn't have a dog in her house. And she shouldn't allow a yeshiva bacher to sleep in her house. She's single now, and people are going to say stuff about them. They're going to make up stories. People can make up a story about that's one way to look at it. People could say about a yeshiva guy, a young Talmud Chacham, since he doesn't talk, he's not gonna tell the world what happened. So she could seduce him, and it's problematic. Ela kalba, according to what you just told me, that a dog, if you feed him, if you have relations with him, he'll chase you. Even the megarba miratza. Why would she have relations with the dog? She knows people are gonna chap her. Says the Gemara, no. Even if she sends him a bowl, she sends him some meat, then he'll also chase her. So people, she says, you know what? I could have a relationship with the dog because even if the dog chases me, they'll think it's because I gave him a bone, not because I had a relationship with him. But you have to stick in the butt over here. But a goat that we just saw today, the goat doesn't eat the meat, so he doesn't chase people when they feed him. Although today we saw that they do chase a little bit. They went into the car actually. Yeah. Okay, but not the same way. Not like mamish wherever you go. It's a different kind of. Over there they want food. Over here it's like mamish odigba, like the Gemara says about if a person has relations with a goya, so she in Gan Eden she's stuck to him like a dog is stuck to a person. A quick and nice maisa, a cute story. A maisa shahaya. There was a boy in Eretz Yisrael that was struggling with Yiddishkeit, and he had a dog. And his mother wanted to invite him for Shabbos, and she was very scared of dogs. So he says, listen, he knew that she doesn't like dogs. He said, I'll come to you on condition I can bring my dog. He said, yeah, but I'm very scared of dogs. No, either the dog or... She said, fine, come with the dog. Kitzer, so he comes with the dog. And every Shabbos when he came, he would sometimes go with his father to shul. If I said, no, come to shul, go. And she would go into the bathroom, lock the door, stay in the bathroom until the husband came back home. That was the Maisa. So I just thought, as a side note, I was in a weird, everything in LA is a shtickle on the interesting side. I was in a restaurant in LA, and the oilam comes in with dogs. My son has a little dog, lives in LA. He shows up with his dog. Comes with the dog, 2-3 dogs. The waitress there is an Israeli girl. She's not Shemesh Torah mitzvahs. She's nervous from the dogs. Now this is a restaurant with the dogs. I couldn't chop, like what's going on? Like she works here, but she goes around the table this way, and she screams once. So when she came to serve us, she screamed. She came to serve us. I said, "Could I ask you a question? Did you grow up in a Haredi family?" She said, how do you know? I have Ruach HaKodesh. How do I know? I see you. I never saw a person so scared of a dog before. It must be a Haredish person. That's a fry girl from Eretz Yisrael is not scared of dogs. Yeah. Zog the Gemara. Nekeva said to the Nekevos, my time Eloi miachdim. What could possibly go wrong when there's a female dog with a female goya? There can't be any Maisa Ishus over here. So what? How come you can't give a goya a female dog, female animal? So this is just to show how deprived these people were. It gets worse and worse. Every line here in the Gemara. The guy goes to visit his friend, and when his friend's not there, he goes to visit his friend's wife. Sometimes he doesn't find the friend's wife. So he finds the animal. So that's why you can't give her to watch the animal. Another pshat. Listen to this. This is crazy. Even if the friend's wife is home, Nami Roiva, he prefers to be with the animal. Domamar, Chaviva Aleim Behemdon Yisrael, a guy prefers the Jewish animal, Yosim Nishayim, over their own wives. Nachamal. Chaviva Aleim Behemdon Yisrael, they prefer the behema, Yosim Nishayim from the wives. Now listen to this. Here, this is the line that I said before. If you just came for this one nekuda, it's very interesting. There's a Maisa B over there between the Nachash and Chava. He injected her with this ruchnis dik zuama. I was just thinking that could be shot in other stuff with a goy adiyam azeh. There's a certain zuama that they put into your guf. You don't know, but it's a ruchnis dik tuma that goes in, and that zuama stays in the body, goes from generation to generation. And that's what causes Doiv the Kechavim to desire a behema, even more than their own wives. This is Zuama. From Chava. As the Gemara Yachi Yisrael Nami, some take it out of it, but let's say it's in there. So how come we don't have the Zuama? We come from the same Chava. Zok the Gemara Yisrael Shamdu al Har Sinai, Pasku Zumasam. The Har Sinai was able to remove the Zuama. Of the Kechavim Shelo Yamdu al Har Sinai, Le Pasku Zumasam. So there's a famous kasha, Il Kervanu Lefnei Har Sinai V'Le'Not Salam Satayra Dayenu. What says? If HaKadosh Baruch Hu would have brought us close to Har Sinai, but He wouldn't have given us the Torah, no, we would be happy with that. What did you gain by being by Har Sinai? Kervanu to this mountain over in the Alps in Austria, V'Le'Not Salam Satayra Dayenu. It's garnished. The dick is the Torah. It's time to be by a mountain. What was good about it? So the Al Shech says, based on this Gemara, because the Har Sinai takes away the Zuama. That's what I mean. So what are you asking? Oh, very nice. I also don't understand. Okay. I go upon him. There's a certain thing, there's a certain Kedusha of Har Sinai, which Rabbeinu, the Kosh Baruch Hu, came down on Har Sinai, so that itself has a certain koyach, and it would have taken out the Zuama. I hear what you're saying. That also bothered me. Fine. Now it gets even better. Iboilu, oifo ismai. Can you give your duck to the guy? Toshma. When I read this, I was thinking about, we have in our shir, Hil Kamiansky. And 2 weeks ago, Noam gave Hil Kamiansky the meat. And how does it work? He takes the meat, and he puts it in the oven, then he puts it in the smoker, then he takes it out of the smoker, he flips it, puts it back into this. It's a 4-step process. All this for what? And he says the Kavod Shabbos Kodesh. He does it for Shabbos. Great. The guy also has 4 steps. Here, listen to these 4 steps. Toshma. Domer Avi Dom Shmuel. Mishum Chanino. Ani Reisi Avi Gechavim Shalokach Avos Min Hashok. I saw a guy take. I brought to shir. What is it? A week ago, 2 weeks ago, I brought a real goose into shir. Moedik. Remember that? Yeah. I took this. It makes me sick. This Gemara. Why? He takes his Avos Min Hashok. Rava. He was over with it. Chanko, this part bothers me. Why couldn't he just shecht it? No. He choked it to death. Salah, then he roasted it. V'achala. 4 steps. Rava, chanko, salah, v'achala. Disgusting should be disgusting. Not only was he revere the duck, this goose, but he also ate it. So in other words, the Gemara say you can't trust him with the bird. He took a thigh, and he hollowed it out so he could be boil the dead thigh. Rava Tzala V'Achala. Rabbi Isai, we missed a few lines on the end of Daf Amud Beis, and we want to make a Simon Shas without missing any words. So even though it's a couple of days ago, it's not so long ago, I'm going to stick it in here and to be Yoitzizai. Iboilu. So we're talking about a sugya. If you sell a tree to a guy on condition that he cuts it down, so we had a machloiges between Remei and Rebuda. Iboilu. Behema menas lishchet mau. What if you sell a guy? He said, we're not going to sell a behema to a guy. But what if you sell on condition that he does shchita? When it comes to the trees and the chita and all the other stuff that we're speaking about, the shachas. So it's all in the possession of the Jew. He has full control on everything. And if the guy doesn't fulfill his part of the obligation of chopping it down, the Jew will take care of it. I did. So the guy won't be able to leave it there. But when you sell a guy an animal, it's in the guy's possession. It's in his barn, not in the Jews. So then he'll leave it. He won't shecht it. Perhaps there's no difference. The review that you see the same machlokes. If you say I sell you an animal on condition that you shecht it, review says is good. No, you can't make a condition. You have to sell it dead. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.